So I had this thing about keeping her warm, keeping her safe, kind of like a child, because obviously our relationship had changed. I'd become the parent.
Shout it out and let them know it's the Davina and Sabrina show. These girls got a lot of sass, topics with a lot of class. Davina and Sabrina show. Spill the tea, drink it up. These girls really know what's up. Spill the tea, drink it up. These girls really know what's up. Davina, Sabrina, it's Davina and Sabrina. Davina and Sabrina show.
Welcome to another episode of the Davina
and Sabrina show. Woo! Thank you. We are back again. Please continue to subscribe, like, share the love. We are on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, all under the Davina and Sabrina show. Woo! So, Davina, today we are going to talk about grief and losing a mother. So, Davina, over about a year and a half ago, has lost her mother, and we are going to talk about that. You're kindly allowing us into your heart. But before we do, just a little bit of stats, because as per Find UK, between 2.5 and say 3 million people die every year, with almost 45.5% experiencing the death of one or more of a parent. Grief and death is inevitable, and it's almost just an unbearable part of life that requires coping mechanisms and many other factors. And thank you, Davina, for actually allowing us to talk about this very sensitive subject. So tell us, how was your relationship with your mum prior to her passing?
I'll put it into one word and I'll go further into it. It was amazing. And why I say amazing, because of the love she showed to both my brother and I growing up and how she looked after us. That is something, even when she became sick, I didn't want to lose. So I'm not going to lie, the last 12 years in terms of caring for her, it was hard, but I would not redo the whole thing over again. If someone said to me, you can go back and relive that, I would just do it exactly the same. There were good times, bad times, but she was such a loving, giving person. She'd like take the clothes off her own back and give it to someone. And even sometimes to her own detriment. So I would just say it was amazing. It was loving. It was meaningful. And obviously I miss her so much because it was just me and her. Yeah. Especially towards the end when my brother had moved out. I would say, I think amazing is the word I would use to describe that. Yeah.
Strong and good.
Yeah.
What happened 12 years ago?
So my mum, after my brother was born, she was diagnosed with lupus. So over the years, that was over 30 odd years ago, well, nearly 40 now. She was diagnosed with lupus and she had loads of health issues, but she was still going to work. She even had like a break of 2 of her femurs over the years, because that was through the steroids she was taking for her rheumatoid arthritis. Because rheumatoid arthritis can stem from having lupus. That's one of the symptoms of lupus, because it's an autoimmune system disease, if many of our diamonds have heard of it. So over the years, she's in and out of hospital. She actually was classified as disabled, but she was still able to get in. Like, the government, they support you in terms of that. But just after she retired in 2011, this was just completely out of the blue. I still remember to this day, it was 7th of October, 2011. I was sleeping. And the funny thing is, the night before, I'd gone on a date, one of my many dates. And I'd had a chat with her. I said, oh, yeah, this guy seems amazing. He was actually French, actually. Yeah, he was a French guy, yeah. And I was, you're feeling optimistic. And me and my mum, we had that sort of like really good bond in terms of like, just like a girlfriend as well as being a mum. So went to bed. And then my brother woke me up in the morning, Davina, something's happened. And I was just like, when someone just wakes you up out of sleep all of a sudden. So I went in there, and then my mum was on the bed, and part of her face was droopy. At the time, because I didn't know much about strokes and whatnot, I didn't understand what was happening because, like, I'd just spoken to her the night before. So I was really panicked at this point. I was just like, what's happening here? So Desmond, my brother, he basically was on the phone to the ambulance because we obviously didn't know what was happening. She was slurring her words. She was laying on the bed, but like literally half of her face was drooping. So I called my aunt, who's a nurse, and she said, put her in the recovery position, which I did. But I was still like panicked, like, what's happening here? So Desmond, he called the ambulance, and it was just like both of us who were just so frantic because there was just like no warning sign or anything like that. So the ambulance came, and can you believe, this is why I say this woman, like, amazing is the word, because she is amazing. She actually, even though she'd had the stroke, she managed with the ambulance men to walk down the stairs, assisted obviously. But normally you don't, like, if you've had a stroke, you have to be taken out on a stretcher. So they took her to Lewisham Hospital. And then when we got there, they did run some tests. We obviously you're there in A&E for how many hours. And then they said she's had a brain bleed. And I was just like, but I thought brain bleed means, you know, when you've knocked your head and whatnot. So at the time I was just really confused. Like, how did that happen? She's not knocked her head or anything, though she had been complaining for months about an aching neck. But we just thought it was something where she'd perhaps maybe slept badly or something. But all the time that was an aneurysm ready to erupt. And the aneurysm is alongside the stroke. So they run concurrently. So she had the brain bleed plus the stroke. It all happened together. So after that, they took her to King's because they're leading for brain injury. I remember the last conversation I had with her before she went into surgery. She was trying to calm me down. She was always about, Davina, don't worry. Like, I'm a massive worrier. And before she went in there, like, I always say, me and my brother always say, it's like we lost our mum twice because obviously she had some brain injury. So we lost an element of her. She was never the same after that. She was there and elements of her was there. But I would say that's the first time I actually lost my mum, if that makes sense. Yeah. And then obviously I lost her in terms of her not being on this earth. But that was full on. And then I would say, and then she had another stroke the following year. And that's actually what probably made her that disabled in terms of how she was like towards the end or further down the line. Mm-hmm. So after the initial surgery, she was put into a coma. And we used to go like every day. I wasn't working. I didn't work for like probably nearly a year, actually. We'll go into and from the hospital. Me and Desmond were there every day, other family members and whatnot. Then they found that there was fluid on the brain. So, because she wasn't like wake, it's like, I don't know if you've heard of like being awake, but you're like a zombie. So like how I'm speaking to you now, she'd be there. She's on the bed. She's looking at you, but she can't speak. But they didn't understand why that was happening. But the reason why it wasn't happening is because the fluid on the brain was causing pressure. So they had to fit a shunt into her head. And then after that, then like I said, 2012, she had another stroke. Then she was in rehab. And then eventually she came home. But even that was quite taxing on both my brother and I. But like I said, there was, even through all that dark time in terms of the ups and downs mentally as well, there were good times. I'm not going to lie. And, you know, and that's one thing I do cherish now, the memories we had of those 12 years and further back. Like, it was really hard because there's brain injury and that affects person's demeanour and whatnot. So, but yeah, I'm still amazed that she lasted 12 years after what she'd been through. And then she had other little mini strokes after that as well. So it was quite demanding, yeah.
So talk us through to, if it's okay, I guess the day before and the day of her, because I know, you was her pretty much full-time carer during like 12 years. She'd been in and out of hospital. You wouldn't have known that this time round of the hospital stint was not, was going to be different. Was there anything different about this time, her going to the hospital and not coming back out?
No. So tell you what, I'm just going to just be honest. Yeah. Please. So we thought when she went into hospital on the 12th of July, 2023, it was to do with constipation because she suffered from that, all the medication she was on and everything. So we honestly thought, me and my brother, that she was going to go in, they give her, sorry to be graphic, a clear out, and then she'll be home. So even though she's been close to death so many times, like I've been at work and they've said, okay, she's only got hours. But I honestly, like, she was the comeback queen. And I don't mean that in a funny way, but she was always coming back. I just don't know where she got this strength. I remember asking her one time, actually, and she said the only reason why she stays is because of me and my brother. Yeah. That's the only reason why. Only reason why. But so that time I just didn't believe. I just thought it was just, even, I was speaking to my brother about this the other day, like, I have still an element of regret of leaving the hospital that time, but I just didn't think it was going to be that was the last time I was going to see her. So that's something I'm trying to still work on, because, you know, things run through your head where you think, oh, was she alone? Obviously, well, they say she wasn't, but obviously I don't know, because I didn't get there in time. Like, she died 7:20 and I got there 7:30. So I was like 10 minutes, because I always had this thing that I thought I was going to be there holding her hand, but obviously I wasn't. But I think just like my dad, because my dad was the same thing. I used to go there every day. He was in hospice, but he chose to pass. Well, he didn't choose to pass, so I take that back. He passed whilst I wasn't there. But a lot of people have told me, parents especially, don't want you to be there and to view that. So that's what I take with me, to think, yeah, maybe she just didn't want me to be there.
Yeah. That's a pretty big guilt to carry, you know, because you weren't to know. How are you actually dealing with that? Because that's a lot. It's okay.
So I always had this thing with my mum, because she always used to get cold. Sorry.
It's fine. You can breathe. Do you want some tissue?
Sorry. So I had this thing about keeping her warm, keeping her safe, kind of like a child, because obviously our relationship had changed. I'd become the parent. So I just didn't want her to feel like she was alone. That's all. Sorry. Yeah. But yeah, I try and pray and just even speak to her photo, just to hope that she wasn't alone. And I'm hoping like one of the nurses were there, even though I was told that. I hope that is the truth. It's not something they're just telling the family. But yeah, I just felt that was my responsibility to keep her safe. And I just felt like I failed a little bit in that respect. Yeah.
Okay. And I guess there's a lot of ifs and buts that you can go through. Hopefully you can find solace in what how you thought that with your dad, that actually, what parent would really want the child to be there to see them, you know, but you did a lot. You did a lot for 12 years, Davina, and
sometimes I feel like I could have done more. Like,
in what way?
Sometimes, like, when I was working, she'll be like, oh, can we talk or whatever? And I'll be like, Mum, I'm going on a Teams meeting. And partly, like, even though I said I wouldn't redo the last 12 years, I feel like I would have said, like, these jobs, obviously they're paying my bills and whatnot, but I would have had more time with her had I not been wrapped up with other stuff, if that makes sense. But
probably still wouldn't have changed how you felt, though, today, right?
Yeah,
so would have felt.
Well, because the guilt doesn't just come from not being there at the last moment, but it also comes from just overall just being there, and could I have done more? Like, I really, really fought for her to be happy, to have happy moments. Like, I used to arrange, you know, days out, pushing the wheelchair and stuff. Like, even now, like, when I see people pushing their loved ones or whoever in the wheelchair, I feel jealous. I know that sounds weird, but I wish I could have that one moment of pushing my mum in a wheelchair. Like, even though at the time I'll be like, oh, my back or whatever, but like right now in this moment, I'd love to have one more pushing her along just to experience that, you know? Yeah. But, yeah.
What is your current, like, coping mechanism the moment then, and has it changed now?
Well, not long after. So the lady who helped to arrange my mum's funeral, she introduced me to this bereavement group. And what I love about this bereavement group, it's very, like, you meet other people there who, you know, have lost maybe husbands, wives or brothers and, a close loved one. And what I particularly like about this group, everyone's older. So what I crave now, I know it sounds a bit silly, but I like a feminine, motherly energy around me when I'm, you know, discussing losing my mum and everything. So a lot of the ladies now, I speak to them outside of the group because it's the last Thursday of every month. And then we also have a counsellor on there. He's like the father.
Did you decided yourself, let me, you know, go to these groups?
Well, with this, so the woman who arranged my mum's funeral, she introduced me to it. And then I started going, I think it was like 3 months after mum passed.
Okay.
And like, without fail, whatever job I'm doing, I have to go because it's only once a month.
Yeah.
But the counsellor, you can call him outside of that time and whatnot. And they have been an amazing support, honestly. Even the woman who arranged my mum's funeral, she's just so comforting. And I think that's what I crave now. Obviously, I don't have my mum in the physical form. So having that, the counselling, and there's also a spiritual healer there who we do meditation. So that has been, you know, really good. And I also feel like I'm helping other people. Like another woman, she started recently, she lost her mum, even though it's only been a year and a bit, but I feel I can offer advice and, you know, understand where she's coming from. So yeah, I feel that's a coping mechanism.
Love the show? Show some love back.
Like, follow, and subscribe. We are on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. You know the drill.
All under at The Davina
And Sabrina Show.
But I think the biggest thing, and this is including yourself, is my friends and my family.
Yeah.
Honestly, I won't be able to repay people back such as yourself and, you know, aunties and whatnot, just for being there, because I do, even now, I do get lonely, don't get me wrong, because it was obviously me and my mum in the house, my brother's moved out. But yeah, without, you know, friends calling you or going out, you know, like how we go out for meals. I know for some people it might seem trivial, but those sort of things picks up my spirit a little bit and, you know, helps me on the grief journey. So I would definitely say the counselling and the support group I've got there, and then my family and friends. If not, I just, because not saying that I would do anything to myself, but initially I just thought, like, why am I here? I don't have children. I don't have a family of my own. Why can't I just be with my mum? Obviously.
Did you actually consider that, though? Was that?
I don't know. The thing is, I've heard a lot of people, like my counsellor said, a lot of people have this thought. Like, I didn't have a thought where I was going to do X, Y, or Z, but I was just, part of me, maybe even when I was speaking to God, I just wanted to, I just still remember at the graveside, I felt like I just wanted to just be inside that grave hole with my mum, because she was my one and only, you know. So, like, my partner, I don't know if we call her a partner in crime, but, you know, my buddy, she's gone, you know. But I know, like, when I was speaking to my uncle, my mum wouldn't want that. She wants me to live my life, because at times she felt that she was holding me back, and she was just like, enjoy your life and whatnot. So I had to have that in my head that, look, my mum wants me to go live my life, do whatever makes me happy, you know. And then also my uncle said, like, how dare you, this is what he said, but it woke me up, how dare you do that to your brother? Like, consider that. Because can you imagine, like, losing your mum? And he was like, no, Davina, you like, I feel like that kind of like shook me. And that just woke me up. I was just like, yeah. Because at first I was like, oh no, what is the point of being here? Whatever. Like I said, I don't think I would have, you know, done anything, but that woke me up more so than anything. Because because that would that would finish him. Can you imagine? Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah.
Are there any, so obviously you had a good support system, friends, family at the time, but is there anything in particular that anyone could have done a bit more for you, truthfully?
So I would say now, because obviously, you know, I like my social media and stuff, posting stuff and whatnot. So I think, but then I'm not going to put this on people. I feel now people probably think, oh yeah, she's fine. Obviously I laugh, but there are times where I do feel like, even I was speaking to a friend of mine the other day, she was telling me she felt lonely. And I was like, I do feel lonely too. Like, because my brother was staying whilst he was doing some work on the house. And even though I was just like, oh my God, the dog's here, whatever. But now I kind of like miss them. I know it sounds a bit silly. Not saying I want the dog back, but coming home, especially like when you come home from a holiday, I was so used to come home from a holiday, tell mum, oh mum, this happened. And then when I come home, it's just like cold house, just nothing. So I feel like certain people, but obviously I know people get on with life. Everyone has busy stuff. I don't expect people to be there like they were at the beginning. But I feel like maybe people could still, like the other day, my uncle asked me, how are you okay in regards to mum? I said, Uncle Ra, you're the first person. Well, actually, no, you have actually recently. Yeah.
And I was about to ask you that
I feel,
question,
But my uncle, I think at the time, this was some weeks ago, no one had recently, because they just assumed that I'm here going for dinner, so I'm fine. But just because I'm doing that, that can be a cover. Yeah. Because sometimes I do keep myself busy by suppressing. And then sometimes I'll be in the supermarket aisle and see like her favourite food, and then I just start crying. So
does that happen still now then? Like, do you have still
Yeah. That's why for a long time I was avoiding Sainsbury's, but recently I've been going to Sainsbury's to get our meal deal. Sorry.
Oh gosh.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
But yeah, I need to. I can't not ever go to a Pacific, because But I did, and also we used to do shopping trips together, like before she had the stroke or whatever. So it does bring back memories, but you know, it's all part of the healing process. I've just got to, there's no point in avoiding places because eventually you might have to go in to that particular store or whatever. But yeah, when he said that the other day, I said, Uncle, for a long time, no one's asked me that. At the beginning, it was like that.
Did you want to cry? Did it really touch you?
Yeah, I said to him, thank you for asking that. Thank you. Because I know people think, I'm okay. Though I've had recently a few people just reach out that I crossed their mind or whatever. And I do find that very, warming and comforting. Yeah.
That's a good shout though, because, you know, obviously, I guess grief is something that you are going to carry with you for forever, really. And as time goes on, less and less people would ask you how you're feeling. So I think that's actually a really important point of when someone is going through grief, and no matter how long after, just because there's a difference between just say, hey, how are you doing?
That's just general.
That's a general thing. Then how are you coping with you know, where you at with the loss of your mum, and you know, 'cause it's 1 year, 5 months. So I'm glad that I have asked that specifically.
Yeah, you have. Yeah, I can't remember when. I think it
probably
might,
was a time, like it's gotten less though. That's true.
But you know what?
That's a fair point.
I can't even be angry at that, because I'm sure there's been someone who close to me has lost someone, and then after some time, life just. But what I've noticed through this life, unfortunately, it does carry on. Like it never doesn't stop. I guess. But yeah, it is warming when someone asks me that. I'm not going to lie. Okay. Because it just shows that I've not been forgotten. Yeah, if that makes sense.
With that particular life-changing moment for you.
Yes.
What's the biggest, your favourite memory? Probably of many.
Oh my God, there's so many.
You and your mum, or with your brother, but of your mum.
You know what really warms me in terms of, so it's like me, my mum and my brother on a Sunday. My mum always used to make custard from scratch because she was an amazing cook, and just like on a Sunday afternoon before, or Sunday evening, should I say, before you've got to go back to work the following day, or sometimes it was even school when we were younger. And then I'll be upstairs because mum she was always in the kitchen. I would say that's one of her ways of showing love. And she'll like, dinner's ready and coming down, and we'll sit around the table, have the cake and custard. She liked Madeira cake and custard. And that just being part of that bubble, that love, that is one memory I'll take to my grave, And memories, I have to say, are the only thing or not the only thing, one of the things which has helped me through to where I am at now. I'm still on that journey. But looking back, even through those 12 years, the good times, like taking her out for dinner and she's laughing, and, you know, taking her out for birthdays and stuff like that, all of those are very comforting memories. Like things, money, Gucci, Prada, or whatever people want to buy, they mean nothing when you've lost that person. But those memories, that's why I said it's about creating memories whilst you're here, because life's too short.
And there's a lot of
what's the word called? Anniversaries, like, points, Christmas, her birthdays, and how do you deal with
So
these?
that's
You've gone through a year and a bit now where there's probably a lot of firsts.
yes.
There's Christmas without her first birthday, and how are you?
We've
managing
had all the firsts. So her birthday last year, her two of her nieces, her two favourite nieces. Yeah, I'll shout them out, Sadira and Lara too, because they're always fighting over who's the favourite niece. And then her sisters. She's got four sisters, and me and Desmond, we went to a restaurant and we celebrated her birthday.
Okay.
That was on the 1st of December. And then Christmas, I went to my mum's sister, and she, like, as much, obviously it's not going to be the same sort of Christmas I had been in the past, but she really made us, like loads of food. She made it very comforting for us, because I just couldn't be in the house, Des and I, on that day, because it was just too much memories.
Yeah.
Mother's Day, a friend who I went to uni with, who also lost her mum, we decided to go to Ireland because I just didn't want to be here. And I made sure I wasn't on social media seeing people posting happy Mother's Day. I just couldn't deal with that. And then we recently had her 1 year ceremony, and then she would have been 70 this coming 1st of December. So I'm probably just going to just do a short, small meal, nothing big. Yeah.
It's a big one.
Yeah, so it would have been a big one, because I was trying to start arranging it before she passed.
I remember.
Yeah, because I was going to do something at home. So I want to do something, even if it's just me, Desmond, and a couple of other cousins or whatever, and one of her sisters. But yeah, it's hard. The first ones are hard. And then Christmas, I'll be away. Yeah.
I was going to come to that. So would you think, I mean, I don't know, I need to make sure I say this the right way, but what is the one positive thing that you can take from this? Because you're going away, which I want you to tell us why. And would you think you would have gone away if, in this next chapter, if your mum wasn't here in the most positive way? Can you talk us through that before we...
So I haven't been to Sierra Leone for nearly 23 years. That's where, obviously, both my parents are from. I just felt like after Mum passed, I had this need to reconnect with the motherland, and also to feel closer, not just to my mum, also to my dad, who died nearly 30 years ago. So that was the catalyst in terms of me booking that, because for years I've been saying, I'm going this year. And it's just like, it's 23 years down the line.
Because you go on away on a lot of holidays.
I do.
You just decided not to go to...
But lots of things had put me off, though. I'm not going to lie. It's numerous. Then there was the Ebola. Then there was there's been times where I've been close and then it's just never happened. But yeah, I do travel a lot. And I just thought to myself, I'm going to all these places. Why am I not? That is home. Like, fair enough, I was born and raised here, but I'm sorry. Like, Sierra Leone is my home. I'm African first before British, for my opinion. So yeah, something in me said, you've got to go back. And then what's really funny now, well, not funny, coincidence, like my cousin who also lost her mum earlier on this year, she's going as well. So, and all these other people, they're going at the same time. So I know I'm supposed to go 100%. Then, and also see family members there who I haven't seen in years, and just be in touch with spiritually, emotionally, and just eat good fresh food and just visit places my parents used to be and stuff like that. And yeah, I would just definitely say that was a catalyst in terms of losing her. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and I'm really excited for this for you for multiple reasons. Yes, to get closer to your mum and find even more healing through that. But for you, you've had a very tough 13 years now, and it's time for you to start unleashing some of these.
Can I say one thing?
Yes,
since losing her, I felt a little bit lost. Like, my main role was carer.
Yeah.
Now, like, I don't know, is it to have kids? I don't know. Obviously, I want to, but is it to be the actor? Is it to be, like, I feel part of this trip will help me discover what my true calling is.
It will.
Because I've just had this one role with other bits around, and now that's been taken away. I'm a bit lost. I'm not going to lie. I'm a bit lost. Not just romantically, just what I'm even obviously doing our show and stuff. Like, obviously I get passionate about that, but just generally, I just need to know what my call. I know there's something and it's giving and maybe in a caring capacity, but I just don't know what that is.
It'll come.
Yeah.
It'll come. And I'm so proud of you and the journey you've taken. It's not been easy, but you keep going, through smiles and tears. And I'm excited to see what's going to happen next from Sierra. And it will open another realm that I don't even think you even know. I know. I see it, and I'm excited for you. But before we go into the DNS, pick or treat, is there anything you would want to say to our viewers, our diamonds, on some things that you've learned through this that can help somebody else, deal with grief?
I would say definitely just embrace your family and friends. You need them at this point. Doing it alone is not the way to do it, because I thought that at first, like just crawl up inside, not go anywhere. That is not the way to do it. Like I said before, memories, like with your loved ones, spend time with them. Tomorrow is not promised. Like, I'm just so glad all the things I did with my mum, like some people might say, oh, it's a bit over the top. You did this, you did that. I even took her to the Lion King and whatnot. But those memories in my time of sorrow are a comfort now. And then lastly, I would say, get the counselling. And actually, sorry, not lastly, get counselling and support in terms of like your emotional needs. But just live life. Because in terms of the memories, live in the life and just, tomorrow is, like I said, is not promised. Just live the life and spend time with family and friends as much as you can. And that's it, really.
Thank you so much for... Time goes way too quickly.
I know.
There's so much to be said. But thank you so much for opening your heart to us. We appreciate it. We appreciate you. Let's do a little bit of pick or treat, girl.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh gosh.
Let's see.
Let's have a look.
Lighten up the mood a bit.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, jeez.
Pardon me. Sorry. Lose your sex organs.
Oh my God.
Or cut off your ears with children's safety scissors.
What on earth?
Weren't you supposed to be picking, Sabrina?
No, you'll go.
Oh God. You know what? Go on.
Say that again.
Lose your sex
organs to never get sexual pleasure.
Yeah, that was all gone.
Or cut up your ears.
With children, you know they're blunt.
Yeah, some painful death, basically. One, you might not die, but painful. Pain.
But it depends how they're getting rid of your sex, or is it just disappearing, or are you hacking that up? Because you're going to die from either of them.
No, just, okay, so I'm sure the producer didn't imagine us dying. It's more about the pain and versus not ever being able to have sexual pleasure.
God, never have
sexual pleasure.
Girl.
But then cut off your ears. You're not going to be able to listen to music again. Oh, God.
So?
Oh, no, but...
You are not going through life, the rest of life, not having sexual pleasure, are you?
Well,
you might do. All right, pick.
Oh.
Or treat.
I'm going to answer
the name of the game. Pick or treat.
Can I be without? But then, so wait, if you lose your sex organs, you're not going to have any like urges, are you? It's just going to get rid of the urges.
No, you can still have urges.
Oh no! Why do I always talk myself into this?
You just never like. Guess what? You won't ever
so
feel.
I won't be able to like even. I won't be able to please myself.
No, or with anybody else, and nope. But you'll be.
All right, cut off the ears. Okay.
Cut off the ears.
Oh God, I'm not going to be able to hear anything. No. But yeah, okay.
At least you'll be able to feel.
Yeah, at least yeah. All right. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, good one. Well done. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Please continue to share, like, follow us. We are on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram under the Davina Sabrina Show. Thank you for all the love that you guys keep giving us. See you next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.